Welcome back to another edition of Just Talking with Joe Burdick. Today is going to be a little different. I got some royalty to call in and talk to me and tell his story. For anybody that doesn't know him, he is the Pierogi Prince of Parma, Valley Forge High School star, Ashland University star, and former NFL defensive lineman Jamie Meter. Jamie, I'm a big fan. I have your jersey on my wall back here. Thanks for calling in. You've never done this before, right?
No, this is my first podcast. Excited to be on it. Thanks for having me.
Man, I'll tell you what. I know you got to go to work soon and you couldn't have a beer or anything. I'm having one for you. I got Joe Thomas here. Uh,
Nice. Have two
but
for me.
Yeah, I will. Uh, I've been a big fan of yours. Thanks for doing this for me, by the way.
Yeah, no
Uh,
problem.
10 years ago, I became a fan of yours. I read an article about you at school. Um, and I know a lot of people won't know this story, but I read the story about how you were with your girlfriend at the time, Lindsay, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So uh I th man, I was a dad and I was reading that and I was like, "Man, his parents did it the right way with him." And I was so impressed when I read it and it stuck with me, and then I eventually got to meet you and I don't know, I guess we became friends a little bit over the years, and I really wanted to hear you tell your story instead of just reading it from the plain dealer. So, what happened? Because you pretty much gave up your opportunity at the draft at the time, right?
Well, I mean, kind of yes and no. So it was my junior year. I was kind of contemplating leaving early, and my wife, well, now girlfriend at the time, uh, got a lump on her neck. And at first, the said, "Oh, this is just a pulled muscle," and we're just kind of like, "I think this is a little more than a pulled muscle because it actually got to the size of like a softball on the side of her neck, and actually affected her breathing a little bit." And a little further testing, we found out that it was nasopharyngeal cancer. It started in her lymph nodes and spread to her nasal cavity, and yeah, a little more than pulled muscle. And I was contemplating. I had a good junior year, like, oh, should I leave now or what? And I just ultimately decided, let's ride one more year in college. I'm at a smaller college, just put some more game film, and I can obviously be closer to home as well, to help out with my girlfriend at the time.
Mhm. So, yeah, so when I was reading the article, if I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you would go to practice and then you would come back and take care of her and
So yep, I mean, it was in the summer, so it was like we had our summer training. Um, a lot of guys would just stay out there the whole summer, which I did in the past. But I'm like, all right, I'll come home, help out, and actually was landscaping at the time too. So it'd be landscape, workout, help out with her. Next morning, go drive to Ashland, finish there for the day, and come back and help out.
man. And for those that don't know, it has a happy ending and it's still going. So they're
Yeah.
obviously married, and how many kids now?
3 kids, 2 boys
3
and a little
kids.
girl.
Oh my god, they're such good-looking kids.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think they're on the wall behind us here.
yeah,
They're
that
everywhere. You'll
I
probably
know.
hear them eventually running around. Two of them are taking naps, but the older boy was asking me to help play some video game a few minutes ago.
Well, you never wanna say no when it comes to the kids. So, as a dad that did everything I could with my kids, I'm the first to say that. So, but that's awesome. Yeah, I got to meet 2 of the kids. Um, so you played in the NFL, and one of my favorite games my son and I were at. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Even though the season was not a good one.
Yeah, I could
But
probably guess it.
but so you signed with the Ravens in 14 and the Browns picked you up in 14. Were you on the practice squad with the Ravens? Is that how
Yeah,
that worked?
I was on the practice squad up until week 11. Got released. Um, started packing my stuff up, got back to Parma. Then probably that following morning, within 7 hours, I got a call from my agent. Hey, the Browns are signing. You'll get ready to go in. I'm like, all right, cool.
Don't have far to go to work.
Yeah, not at all. I'm like, I know where to go.
So you were with Cleveland for 3, 4 years, something like that, right?
Yeah, they released me right at the before the start of the 2018 season. So 4 seasons at 14, 15, 16, and 17.
And that sucked because 16 and 17 were really bad years. So,
Yeah.
but but so yeah, I'm going to talk about those seasons. And one of the other things too that really, I mean, I was already a fan of who you were at the time, but 5 years ago, I reached out to you. My nephew had a stroke. And so I was reaching out to, he was 16 at the time, and I was reaching out to anybody I could think of that I may have known a little bit or we've communicated a little bit, but you were one of them, and you were out in, I believe you were in Seattle at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Remember.
yeah, so I reached out to you, and you made a video for my nephew, just giving him some solid advice and to keep his chin up. And that kid, he's a senior at Kent State.
Awesome.
He just finished a summer job with Key Bank, and they offered him a job.
Oh,
uh,
awesome.
yeah, so he's about to graduate. He's graduate with honors. And he's such an awesome kid. And so obviously he made 100% recovery, but those words of advice that you gave him, and other people like Joe Thomas did it, and there was actually people, believe it or not, that did that cameo thing or whatever, and they wanted money for it. And I was like, nah, forget it. But yeah, so my nephew Jacob made a full recovery, and he's doing amazing. So thank
Good.
you again, even though I thanked you probably 100 times.
No, I'm
Thank you
glad
for
to hear
making that
that too.
video
That's
for him.
awesome. Good for him.
Yeah, yeah, he's a great kid, and he played football at Avon, and I remember you telling me your dad played at Avon, right?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Back when it was just all farms, though, not as built up as it is today.
The cool thing, when he was a senior at Avon, he was trying to come back, and he ended up getting bone spurs in his foot.
Oh man.
So he couldn't play, but my son was a sophomore at Brecksville. So at the beginning of the year, I was like, boy, I really hope Brecksville plays Avon in the playoffs. The chances were slim, but it was a good year for Brecksville. So my son ends up breaking his arm.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, against Bath, or what is it? Not Bath. It's in Bath. Is it, what's that school? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but out there in Bath. So he breaks his arm, but Brecksville and Avon play each other in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh man.
Well, my son's on the sideline with this cast in his arm, and my nephew was on the other sideline, and he couldn't play. But it was so awesome to see the two cousins on the field together.
Yeah,
So
that's really cool.
it was a hell of a comeback.
Should have had him arm wrestle or something with the good
Oh yeah.
arm.
Oh yeah. My son's mom was so mad because he literally broke his arm the week before, and she did not want him on the sideline. She didn't want him playing football at all. But that's another story.
Yeah.
So now that you're out of football, do you follow it? Do you miss it?
Well,
You do
miss it.
fantasy football?
I don't do fantasy, but do I miss it? 100%. I wish I was still playing, but that's near nor there. But I actually do security for the Browns now. So when they're home games, I'm there on the sideline. Actually,
So you're going to be there this weekend? Are they in
yes, I
town this
will.
weekend?
No, I do work this weekend, but I'll be able to work around it and do both. So I'll be
That,
there.
that's awesome. Um, so when you were on the Browns and you got to play with Johnny Manziel, what was he like? I mean, as a fan, I have my opinion, and I was not a fan. But I mean, what was it like with him, especially, when that documentary came out and he said he never read the playbook, and
So I mean, honestly, in the locker room, it wasn't anything bad. I didn't think of him as much of a distraction or anything. I thought there were some other guys that definitely had a loud mouth that shouldn't. he wasn't like starting any fights, but I mean, you hear I wasn't a part of his off-field things, but you
Right.
hear about him and you're just like, all right, like, can we just win a game and stop worrying about this other stuff, And you know, when you see and hear stuff of him not putting the work off the field, I mean, it is what it is. He made that choice, and that's why he didn't have a long career. And he could have had a great thing going in Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland loved him. They wanted him to be the star. So, I mean, that's on him.
Yeah. What, well, for me, I feel bad for like Joe Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Thomas had a chance to get traded and he turned it down and he stayed here and he never even got a sniff of the playoffs. I mean, that sucks for him.
Uh, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, him more than others for sure, but there's plenty of guys too, just like him, that put in the work, that earned, you know,
Right.
spots that others, throughout the league, got. But I mean, it definitely stinks. He's definitely a guy that, you know, should have had a ring on his finger at retirement, but it is what it is.
Well, it seemed like the two of you got along great.
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy. He's one of those guys that you can admire for his personality, his work ethic. He's just an all-around good guy. Like, he worked hard, and it
Mhm.
obviously played off. He was a very talented guy, and he had all the things going for him.
Were you at his Hall of Fame induction?
I was not. Should have probably, but no, I wasn't.
Should I put a message into him, find out why he didn't invite you?
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Uh, so what was it like in the locker room? I mean, do you have what are some good or your favorite locker room story? You got to have some good ones that you can, this is an adult show, but I know there's certain things you can't say.
uh, I mean, yeah, there's some good stuff. I mean, it definitely, in the stretch of 1-31, it definitely was a bummer in the locker room because I mean, yeah, it stinks losing, but none of the guys in there wanted to lose. I mean, I don't. Nothing really comes to mind of anything outrageous. There's definitely some guy talk that you know it still makes me laugh thinking about some stuff, but I don't know how much I can share with that one-on-one personal conversations.
Well, what about pranksters? You had to have who was the biggest prankster you ever played with?
um, I mean, there was always guys that were doing stuff. I'll say when my second year in that I actually really started to get to play, I'd still have to rotate in, like being a younger guy on scout team, and there's always like Danny Shelton would be hiding, like trying to like avoid getting in. And that would always
Really?
be funny, yeah. But I mean, he would still come in. But I remember there's a few times he'd hide behind like a coach or something to try not to get in there. But I mean, him trying to hide behind another human, that doesn't help.
Yeah, he was a big man.
Yeah.
He just got a ring too, didn't he?
Yeah, he got 2. He had a great
2?
career. Yeah.
Wow.
One with the Chiefs and one with New England. Had a great career.
Who was the biggest trash talker?
Uh, Randy Starks on the D line, if you're saying someone on the team, he always was good for talking trash. Uh, Opposing teams wise, I always thought Steve Smith Sr., when he was with the Ravens, he was pretty good at it as well. Could
Right.
back it up.
And did you get to who did you lay any quarterbacks out? You ever hit like Tom Brady or
Well, yeah, one of I have 2 career sacks. Tom Brady's one of them. So is Marcus Mariota. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did hit Peyton Manning, brought him down, Roethlisberger as well. So at least I hit a few guys.
Photographers get those on film?
I hope so.
You haven't seen them?
I I saw him like as in game film, but I don't think I've actually seen the picture of him. So
I
besides my Tom Brady sack, I got that somewhere around my house.
I know a couple of the Browns photographers. I'm gonna see if they have any of those.
Yeah, they have to dive deep for those
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah. Look a long time on the hard drive for those.
Yeah. Well, they probably marked 1-31, delete soon.
Wow. So that was in the 1-31 season?
uh,
Or seasons?
the seasons. Yeah, the Tom Brady one was Marcus Mariota. That was 2015. I think that's when we went 3-13.
Wow. So 4 wins in 3 years.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was a season ticket holder. It was tough.
Did you ask for your money back?
You know what? I should have. I should have, sued the Browns, but, ah, oh, man.
Yeah, product, not performing as described.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns finish with 1 win this year.
I hope not. I mean, there's some good guys on that team that
I
deserve
know.
better too.
I know. I like Miles and, Batonio.
Yeah.
He's like the Joe Thomas of today,
Yep, exactly. Just a good
He seems like
hardworking
such a
guy.
good guy. Yeah.
Yep.
So that 1 in 31 season, like I said, I was a season ticket holder. I was there with my son Christmas Eve against the Chargers. And I know you've seen the picture 100 times, but I was taking pictures, but right when what leading up to it would have been the game, basically the game winning kick. I ended up getting a photo of my son. What was the mood like leading up I mean, at that point, you guys are 0 and 15. I
Yeah.
mean, were you like, what was the mood like in the locker room? We can't lose this game.
I
We don't want to be winless.
I mean, yeah, I mean, every week we can't
Right.
lose this game. I mean, like I said, no one. I mean, definitely we stunk, but no one wanted to lose. Definitely try to have a positive locker room, just like, hey, let's win a game because there's only like a few games that in that 2 season stretch that like we really got our butts kicked that we weren't into it. Like most of the games were like, why can't we just pull off a win? We're so close.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, it just came down to let's get a damn win and like turn this season around a little bit.
Yeah, so that game against the Chargers, my kid and I were in the opposite end zone of the dog pound,
Yep.
slightly upper deck, but in the second row. Great view the whole game. You guys coming our way, and it's kind of funny. So I put that picture on my Instagram a couple of weeks ago, and I tagged you, and I tagged that kicker. He had to be like, he woke up that morning going, "Oh, great! I needed this jerk gave me a reminder of losing that game." But
Yeah, Cleveland fans.
it was like our Super Bowl because, of course, we didn't want to go winless, and you blocked that kick. I mean, did you know right away that it was a solid block? It wasn't going in, or
Like yes and no, because like I remember like I hit it, then I had to turn back around like how well did I hit this, and then I saw it like dribble into the end zone. Like thank God that it worked out well.
that was so awesome. And the photo I have, I'll edit it into this before I put the video on YouTube. But the photo I have of my kid, you would have thought we just won the Super Bowl.
Oh
So it was
yeah,
so I love that memory that I have with my son, and it's because of you blocking that kick. It would have just been a crappy day on Christmas Eve, but
yeah. A
I
little
mean,
early Christmas gift.
it really was. I mean, it was an exciting walk home or walk to the car, and yeah, we love that memory, and every year I post that picture on Christmas Eve.
Heck
So
yeah, good.
thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
And,
I'll
and
never.
then
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
no, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I'd never forget like coming off to the sideline too, like cheering. I still have it like burned into my memory. A Chargers fan sitting in the front row behind our bench, just flipping me the bird the whole time when I'm walking off.
That's funny. Yeah, the one photo my son had, you signed for my son. You coming off the sideline and you got your arm up in the air. Were you just taunting that guy or something when they got that
I mean, I
picture?
was just celebrating. Would hope not that a opposing fan has that good of seats right behind our bench.
Yeah, how do they get that? That should
Yeah,
be criminal.
I agree.
It's pretty bad. I remember I was at that Patriots game.
Okay.
I think there were more Patriots fans in the stands than there were Browns fans.
Yeah, I know. I can. Yeah, I remember that as well. And that's one of the 5 games that we were not in at all.
Yeah.
He that was after the deflate gate, and he put up like 400 yards on us.
Oh my God. Yeah. The memories though. the cool thing for me too is because I got my son started. We went to our first Browns game when he was 9, and I got sideline passes, and he got to meet Jim Brown, which was, awesome for a
That's
little
awesome.
kid.
Yeah.
Even though he had no idea who this old guy was, but he got to meet him, signed his little hat, took a picture with him. Now he loves that he met him, but, ever since 9 years old, up even now, he's a sophomore in college. He still comes home on Sunday to watch the Browns games with
Oh,
me.
good.
So, yeah, and he it his major in college is sports business.
Oh, nice.
So, it's kind of a compliment to me that I got him into sports at such an early age. Now he wants to make it his career in sports. So I love that. His dream is to get a job with the Browns.
Oh,
So
awesome. Yeah, that'd
that's
be
his
sweet.
dream
Yeah.
job. So,
Heck yeah.
but it's not going to be a player. So once he broke that arm, he never looked back.
Yeah, he was a fullback, right?
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
fullback. They didn't use him the right way, and the coaches didn't get the JV team, you know, they didn't work with him well enough, I guess. And but yeah, he snapped that arm pretty good. But
Well, it happens. It's a cool story
what
to tell the girls now.
yeah, yeah, it
Football
was.
star.
So speaking of cool stories, the next year. So and we actually that was the wasn't that the first year with oh, who was that kid that came out of Michigan? Peppers. Was that Peppers' first year? Jabril Peppers?
2017, I think,
Was
right?
that the year? So that was the next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I went to a training camp. I was friends with Danny Vitale, and we got his family pass. So we were down there, right there where everybody was at. And uh Peppers was getting chewed out by the defensive coordinator,
Beat
making him
up.
do push-ups and stuff because he had a bad attitude. And I'm like, we were both surprised that professional athletes were getting treated like little high school kids, but he probably act like a little high school kid. And I remember Joe Thomas, I could hear him yelling at the people saying, "Hey, come on, you want to do this all day? Let's get done." They were like Cadillacing in practice or something. But so coming into that season, I mean, obviously the Lions were the only team to go winless. I I mean, it was tough for a fan, what was that season like? And I know you guys played your asses off and you practice hard and, you know
I mean, it kind of just it kept that train of sorrow going. I mean, yeah, it definitely sucked, but like once again, it wasn't like we were trying to lose or not giving
right.
our efforts to win. And at I think even halfway through the season, our defense was near the top 10 in the league. Like we were doing well on defense, but we just could never get in the end zone. And like we just had that revolving door at quarterback that didn't help.
Well, that hasn't changed at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the last year when we made the play our last year, we had 5 different quarterbacks.
Yeah. It's
Now, do you follow them still? Are you a fan now? I know you're working the games, but
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, I will always love Cleveland. I mean,
y
it's home, and obviously the Browns come with that. And yeah, I mean, I wish them nothing but the best. Hopefully, don't like to see anybody get injured, but hopefully, with Winston in now, step it up and turn this season around.
I hope so. I got $40 on the game this weekend.
Good. Hopefully, you win some.
It's a four-way parlay. $40 will win 300.
Oh, nice.
I bet on the Browns every week and I lose every week. So apparently I just like throwing my money away.
Write it off as a charity donation or something.
What do you think about this move to Berea? I mean, not Berea,
Uh,
to Brook Park.
Brook Park. I like the fact that the stadium's by the water. I'm gonna miss that, but as a financial decision, I think they're gonna make a lot of money. With that dome, so much more opportunities, even without football, just concerts. Like as a
Right.
business perspective, I think it's a very smart move.
Well, I'm not I don't feel bad for the city because how they are with cops down there and the crime. I'm not a big fan of it. So I'm ready for a change.
Yeah,
If he does like what Jerry Jones did in Dallas and make a big thing, a big
Oh yeah,
conflict, I think it'll be a good thing.
yeah. I
So,
mean, hosting a Super Bowl, other bowl games for college, a Taylor Swift concert. You know how much money that would bring in? Be insane.
yeah, I guess she's good for business.
Yeah,
So the 2017 season, when you guys, I hate to keep bringing this up, but I haven't talked to anybody about the season, any former players. I mean, uh, at the end, after that last game, what was what what did you guys? What was the locker room like? Because
well,
I know you guys played your asses off.
yeah,
Like I said, I'm friends with Danny, and we talked and stuff, and during the season. But that had to suck. I've never asked him about that season.
yeah. Well, I mean, so I got hurt week 11 or week 11 or 12 when I was put on IR. So I didn't go completely 0 and 16, but I mean, yeah, it was just rough because it's like everybody's putting in their time there, and it's just not paying off in that win column, and it
Mhm.
definitely it sucks at times. It really does. It's definitely just a black rainy cloud that we just couldn't shake off.
Right. Well, what'd you think, the next year? I know, obviously you got, the Browns cut you that year, but you were there for the Hard Knocks
Yeah.
and the Baker thing. What'd you think of, Baker?
I mean, I thought he was a good guy. I mean, I thought he was another hard worker. I mean, he got Cleveland a win in the playoffs. He did well. Obviously, that shoulder injury his last season, he probably should have, not played on it. But it's a dedication to him that play through an injury. I mean, you can't fault the guy for working hard and wanting to win.
Right. Yeah, I even told his wife that the Browns did him wrong, the way they treated him, I feel like we're kinda like the Indians always had the curse of Rocky Colavito because they
Yeah,
got rid of Rocky. I think we have the curse of Baker Mayfield because of how they treated him, you know? He's doing really well, and the
yeah.
Browns aren't.
I
So,
mean, yeah, good for him. I mean, that just kind of shows you he's a hard worker. It doesn't matter where you put him, he's going to work.
mhm. I asked Kendall Lamb, what he thought of Baker and, Deshaun because he played with both of them. And he told me that Baker's the best guy he's ever met or played with, but Deshaun was the best quarterback he ever played with or against. And I don't know. I'm not a Deshaun guy.
I mean, hopefully, just he's got to get healed up.
You think
Obviously,
he'll play another down in a Browns uniform?
it's I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, he's going to get paid a lot of money, so he better come back and play, and hopefully he gets healthy and performs to that Pro Bowl status that he was in Houston.
Jeez, he hasn't shown one sign of that guy.
Yeah,
It's it. Yeah, I think you're being too nice because they have you working the sidelines. I get it. I get it. But, yeah, as a fan, uh, let's
no,
put it this way.
hey, I'm a fan now too, and I understand you want to see your team win. Yeah, I get that completely.
With this past weekend, normally I'm upset because I feel like I wasted 3 hours on a Sunday when the weather's beautiful. This past Sunday, I listened to the game for the second half. I ended up doing some working on some flag stuff, so I wasn't as mad that I didn't wait. I only wasted an hour and a half watching the Browns, so. But, yeah, I like Baker. He's a good dude. I've gotten to meet him and my son, he was awesome with my son, and so.
Oh yeah,
But
that's good. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I always appreciate a hard worker. I mean, you can if you got a guy that has average talent that just works hard, you can get far with that.
right. Well, I also think for $230 million or whatever we're paying this guy, you could do the same thing with, you know, um, I don't know, like, was that Dorian Thompson Robinson, whatever his name is,
Yeah,
DTR.
DTR.
You could
Yeah,
do the same thing with him. You don't need a quarterback to get $230 million to throw, or to not even score 18 points.
I mean, yeah, I see it, but I mean, you gotta. hope that he can just turn around and live up to that contract. But I mean, with an Achilles rupture, it's going to be a long, rough year.
I mean, it's tough. I don't think anybody can really live up to that, especially when it's guaranteed. I knew it was going to be a
Uh,
mistake.
it's a lot of money I wish I had.
Don't you wish they yeah, they gave you that kind of money as a guaranteed
Yeah, just
contract?
yeah, a tenth of that, and I'd be fine.
So you were the nose tackle, right?
Yeah, nose tackle, three tech. Every when we were real bad anywhere on the D line.
I when I was a kid, I used to love Bob Golick back there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he came up to
he's
a few practices.
oh, is that right?
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, he's still around here somewhere doing podcast or something, isn't he? Or has
Yeah,
a radio show?
didn't he have like a morning show with the Browns for a while?
Oh yeah, for a while he did, but he's doing something else now.
Yeah.
Do you ever hear of the Bone Lady? Remember her?
Yeah, I remember her. I don't think I've seen her actually in the last couple of years.
I used to date her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in 2007. They
Did you
went
give
10
her
and 6.
did
What's
you
that?
give her that name? The Bone Lady
Uh,
then?
no, but I had a an interesting nickname in the dog pound. But it was yeah, they went 10 and 6 that year. I dated her and didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, that was my yeah, I remember in high school, we had like 10 different Pro Bowlers that year.
Yeah, that was a good team.
We
But
had a really good team.
Braylon Edwards, he was a bust. Kellen Winslow Jr.
Yeah, Derek Anderson was on that team.
He was a crybaby, though. He said that everybody cheered when he got hurt. That I was there. That didn't happen. They were cheering because they wanted Brady Quinn in. It was a coincidence that he was hurt, but they were cheering that Brady came in.
Oh, yeah, I don't honestly, I don't remember that, but that's kind of funny. Well, all the girls love Brady Quinn, so
Yeah. Well, he was like the whole Johnny Manziel. He was the new guy, and you know, I don't know. They were waiting for him to come in, but yeah, I guess they all did like all the ladies did like him.
yeah, he's the handsome guy.
I guess. I can't relate to that. I have a face for radio.
There you go. Well, I was okay when I had a head full of hair, but obviously that's a different story now.
So what was Joe Thomas like to play with? He had to be such like inspiring or such a good guy to be around.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, he's just such a good guy, a hard worker. I mean, a guy that could, had every no one would blame him if complained about anything just because of our record or anything, but he didn't. He just came in, worked some more, put on great film tape, and was just a great example on and off the field.
That's awesome. My so he has one of my flags, and when my son and I gave him one, he ended up getting hurt a couple of weeks later or whatever, a couple months later. I think we got it to him in training camp or whatever, but he ends up getting hurt. And then, obviously I gave one to you, and you got hurt. You gave me your family tickets to a game, which was pretty interesting because, um, I was sitting next to, oh, who was the running back at the time? He ended up going to the Jets. But
Oh, Crowell?
yeah, so I was sitting next to Crowell's mom and somebody else and Duke Johnson's mom or what, and all they were doing is complaining the whole time. You're not giving my son the ball. And like they were making such a scene in that section. I'm like, oh my God. But you ended up getting hurt that game that you gave me your tickets. Um, and my son's like, "Hey, Dad, you need to stop giving your tickets to these players because you're jinxing them." And then like this year, he's like, "Dad, why don't you give Deshaun Watson one of your flags?" Because then even though you don't want to wish for somebody to get hurt, he thought it was funny that he wanted to get somebody else in there.
Uh,
But yeah, so the joke between me and my son was my flags were cursed.
Putting some voodoo on those flags for us.
I really wasn't trying, but we were at the game also when Joe got hurt. I was there with like a work thing, and I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
You could
I
just
think he tore both his triceps. I know at least one.
you could feel the wind go right out of the stadium, kind of like when Chubb got hurt last year.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
which
yeah.
I can't believe he came back. That's the second time he's done that.
Yeah, that I mean, yeah, that's very inspiring after that leg injury, watching him score. So that was awesome. I mean, I was more shocked that he was playing on 1st and 10. Like I thought they were like, all right, let him play, but let's get him near the short, 2nd down, 3 to go, something small or in the red zone. But
Right.
yeah, good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. That was awesome. So uh when you in 2018, obviously Hard Knocks was there. What was that like with them cameras in your faces all the time?
I mean, it definitely was weird because it was just everywhere. Because I mean, you definitely have like, there's a camera in every corner. Not all the times manned by somebody, but you definitely have conversations that you don't want to be recorded. So I
Right.
mean, it is what it is.
Do you watch that stuff with your kids?
Like games, no, but I don't. We haven't watched the Hard Knocks that was there.
Right.
Yeah,
Did you now when you got released by the Browns, I know that's probably a sore subject. Did
yeah.
they get did they
I'm
get
over
that
it now.
did they get that on video?
No. So
Oh, that's good.
ironically, let's see, because they had Carl getting interviewed with Hugh Jackson after him, Carl getting released, and I was
Massive?
actually, yeah, NASA, and I was actually right after Carl that my meeting with Hugh.
I remember you texted me. I think my kid and I were walking to I think we are going to an Indians game or something, and you texted me, and I think you told me that you got released or something, and I'm like, "Hey, Jamie just texted me. He got released." And man, that had to suck because I remembered on Hard Knocks they announced the roster and the starting roster, and you were on it, the
Yeah, it's a
52 man or
starting
whatever.
nose. Yeah,
And I'm like, "Hey, sweet, Jamie's on," and then next thing I know, you're texting saying that you got released, and I'm like, "Oh, I mean, that's awesome that he would text me, but that sucks for him."
yeah,
But
definitely. Yeah, it was kicking the balls for sure.
and then you gave me this jersey back here that after that. So, in fact, I don't know if you can see it, but that picture right there,
Yeah,
that's you,
I
that's
think
you
I
blocking the
yeah,
kick.
yeah, nice.
Yeah. I made everything black and white except for you blocking that kick.
Heck yeah, it's a
So,
good picture.
I love that. We love that jersey. Um,
Good.
yeah. So, what do you think of this new kickoff rule?
Um, I don't know. I want to see it go like old school with like bring back the wedges and the designated wedge buster. Like that's what I want to see. Like bring back
Right.
some old school fullback running down the line to smash some people.
I'm a big fan of the fullback, and it's so disappointing that um, very few teams use
Oh,
it. But the teams that do, like the Saints and the 49ers,
yeah,
teams like that, the Ravens,
yeah.
they
They got a
use
huge guy. He's like the 60
300 some
lineman.
pounds.
Yeah,
But they use them the right way and it works. But then guys like the Browns, I became friends with obviously Danny and then Janovich. Uh, I wanted because my son was playing fullback. I wanted him to try to meet a couple of fullbacks and get some good advice. And but when Danny at college, he was a super back and he scored tons of touchdowns. He comes to the
yeah,
Browns and he doesn't score any touchdowns. They don't use him right. And then they bring in Janovich. They don't use him right either. I
yeah,
mean, I don't get it. I love
yeah.
the fullback, you know.
It's a dying position, that old school fullback. It's just like the old school middle linebacker. They're not the same position anymore. They have to learn
Yeah.
how to cover and catch balls now, and it's just it's not the same as that hard nosed like short down football.
Yeah, it's pretty weird how like the game has changed so much just in, a few years. You think back at like guys like Josh Cribbs that, you know, was one of the best kick returners in the league. And I watch what they're doing this year and it's like they might as well have little flags on.
Yeah, I don't know, it's definitely different. I'd like to see like the stats of it when it's all said and done, like how like it compares to, because it was more so like the injury prevention. But I mean,
Mm.
if no one's returning the ball as much,
Well, they haven't changed it in college though.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd like to see the stats at the end of it to see how it really compares.
Right.
Or
So
they should do the TV stats if people are turning the channel during kickoffs. See if
right.
that helps.
So what's your favorite stadium to play in?
Besides Cleveland, Green Bay, we played in the preseason. That was kind of a cool experience.
Now, would you have rather have played there in the preseason or like in December, at the end of
Oh
December?
yeah, in December that would have been great. But I
Oh
mean,
my
it was
god.
still nonetheless a cool experience. All like the cheese
History.
heads around there.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to go there when Danny went to Green Bay, and it was like, I don't know, maybe the first week of training camp. We had planned it. He gave us his family pass, and we came up to Green Bay, and my kid got to meet Rogers, and it
Oh,
was it was
that's
pretty
cool.
awesome. The history of that place. It was like, you know, the old stadium was history.
Yeah,
Maybe we didn't appreciate it back then, but Green Bay, that's awesome.
yeah, definitely a cool environment for sure.
Did you do the Lambeau Leap?
No, I did not.
Uh, Yeah, so, I loved going up to Green Bay, though. It was so much fun. And my favorite stadium, did you ever play in the new, um, Viking stadium? The Dome?
I think I only played the Vikings one time, and I think that's when we were over in London.
Oh, yeah, what was that like?
Think I think that was against them. I mean that was cool too. I mean there was no like fans that hated us. Every fan there, it was a packed stadium, but it was like you saw like a million different jerseys. They were just like, oh, it's an American football game. Let's find a jersey to wear. You saw every color of every other team there besides our own, but it was still a cool experience.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I don't know if I'm a big fan of them doing that, playing in Germany and playing in London and Brazil and all these places. I don't know, but I guess it's good for revenue or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's marketing for sure. Just trying to get more people to watch games and buy merchandise for sure.
And Joe's coaching over in Germany.
Yeah, I saw that. Hey, maybe we could get some studs out of there.
Yeah, but it's the Ravens. Well, you were with the Ravens for a minute. So, you ever who's the person that you laid out? You ever lay somebody out? Like took them out of
um,
the game?
I know in a preseason game, I think in 2015, I made a tackle and I broke a kid's leg. I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he left, but uh, God, who was it? It was someone on the Browns team was friends with him. Maybe they played in college together, but he's like, yeah, that dude's actually pretty happy because he was just a body for the team that in the preseason that he knew he was going to get released, but with that injury, he was going to get paid for the year. So I was like, all right,
Oh, is that
there's
right?
a silver lining in it.
Didn't we do that to Odell Beckham Jr. in a practice or in a preseason game? We took
Yeah,
him out.
yeah. Well, he got a high ankle or and
Oh, that's
I don't know how hurt he was or if he didn't want to play in the preseason. Being
see,
a
I
superstar.
heard when he played for the Browns, a lot of people didn't like him. He took plays off. He got special treatment. I heard a lot of stuff. You don't have to confirm it, but
I mean,
I
he
heard.
was after me anyways,
Oh
so
yeah,
I mean, I can believe it. He's definitely a character, a high maintenance kind of guy, so I
that
can
doesn't.
believe it.
That's not a Cleveland. We don't need guys like. I always say, like especially our quarterbacks, we need guys like either like a Brett Favre, which Baker was, or like I hate to say it, like a Roethlisberger, a big. We don't need a guy that can run. I don't like running quarterbacks. I hate it because they always get hurt. But we
Yeah,
need a guy like a Roethlisberger that could stand in there, take the hit, not afraid to get hit.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, yeah, yeah,
we missed out
especially
on Josh Allen.
yeah, just compare. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And those guys that actually, Favre, Roethlisberger, they have these Hall of Fame careers. That's what Cleveland needs is a quarterback to have a Hall of Fame career here.
Yep. So you missed the practice and all that stuff?
Oh, every second.
Really? That's awesome. I mean, I wish you I don't know, I wish you were still out there. I know the
Yeah,
paychecks
me
are
too.
different.
Yeah.
So your profession after football, it's obviously I have a huge amount of respect for. So you became a cop.
Yep.
What made you want to be a cop?
I mean, I got my degree in criminal justice, and that's actually when I was a little kid. I'm like, yeah, NFL player, great too, but I think being a police officer would be pretty cool as well.
Is it?
I enjoy it. I'm in a good city. I mean, the mayor
Yeah.
likes us. Everybody likes us for the most part. So, I mean, I tip my hat to some of my other friends in other cities. My best friends, his stories when I hear some, I just like I shut my mouth because I got nothing to say. It's like, yeah, man, I'm helping older people, which is great, and you're dealing with some real
Getting
stuff.
cats out of
Yeah,
trees and stuff.
yeah, the
I
easy stuff.
I'm friends with the SWAT commander in East Cleveland.
Oh
Now,
gosh,
could you imagine what they see in East Cleveland? I'm obviously not going to say what city you're in, but I was there with Mike Trevisano when he was alive, and we honored your department. So obviously, you know me, and you know how much I love the
yeah.
cops.
Well,
But
I appreciate that, and we all do.
I was in your city a couple of weeks ago. I was at a store, and there were some cops at the corner down there. And I pulled up and I rolled my window down. I said, "Hey, is Jamie Meter working?" And the cop was like, "No, he's off again, man. He's always off." And and I could tell he was just goofing around because he assumed he had to have assumed that I knew who you were. But I just thought it was so funny that the relationship that you guys all have.
Oh yeah,
Now, how
it's a brotherhood. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now how is that brotherhood as a cop compared to that brotherhood as a player?
I mean, it's very similar. Everybody has the same goal. Like, obviously, playing wise, you want to win a game, and as a police officer, it's the do your job and keep everyone safe. So it's always it's a goal oriented brotherhood and
Right.
friendship.
Well, I tell you what, I say a prayer for you guys every day, you
Well,
know?
thank you. We appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, you're where you're at, I'm sure you're close enough to where the areas are the bad areas, and I'm sure
Yeah,
plenty of them come through there
and
and
we
it
have our fun every so often. Good
man,
crazy happening.
yeah. Uh, I, I did a lot. Obviously, you know that I do a lot of fundraising for cops, and you know, it really hits close to home, especially the stuff lately, that I've helped do fundraising for. So, and I was raised by a guy. His dad was killed in the line of duty in
Oh
in
wow.
in Cleveland, and I saw how the FOP took care of his family, and uh, that's what made me first of all, I used to wanna be a cop, but, thankfully, I'm not one, but, it also is the inspiration for me wanting to do as much as I possibly can, so, if there's ever anything, you guys need in your department, God forbid if somebody gets hurt or there's a fundraiser, you could just pick up the phone and call me, and, you know, I have people doing it all the time, and I always donate my stuff for fundraisers, so
Yeah. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And we have your flag hanging in our hallway and at the
that
station too. So yeah,
yeah, that's
we
good.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I again, I appreciate what you guys do. And you gave me a funny story, I don't know, not long ago when I was talking to you. So you were working security at the stadium and you said it was what? Halloween?
Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
So what happened on Halloween with you working at the stadium?
Yeah,
Cuz I laughed my ass off when you told me.
it was probably my I think my first year doing it. Great night. And we won the game too. So it was an even better feeling with that. But I just watched this one fan start walking down the stairs. I'm like, is he gonna hop over the border, the little or barrier? And he did it. I'm like, no way he's gonna go for the field. Hop down on the dog pound side and started running into the field, and I got to tackle him, and he got arrested after the fact. And all the other security guys are all either former cops or currently a police officer. We're like, oh, dude, that's bullshit that you got to do that. Like I've been here for years and I haven't had that opportunity. Of course, you just get here just because of your name, you get to tackle them.
That's funny. And did you lay him out?
I mean, I just brought him to the ground. I can't, I'd get a roughing the passer if I really went full go,
That's so how much weight did you lose? I mean, you can't be in, the same size as you were
Nah,
when you were a nose tackle.
no, I mean, I think at my heaviest plane weight, I was right around 315. My lowest when I was at the academy, I got down to like 250, but now and that I'm not running every day. I'm right around 270 on a bad weekend of drinking and eating. I can get up to 280 though.
So, the funny thing with social media I've learned, is that once it has this algorithm thing, and it learns what you like to see. Now, apparently, I like to see guys getting their asses beat by cops, and apparently, I like to see people getting pulled over and acting like idiots. One of the things I'm seeing a lot of, and I shake my head every single time, and I wanna know if you've come across any of these people. Have you come across a sovereign citizen bullcrap?
um,
Have you seen those videos?
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Maybe once, like, oh, let me talk to your supervisor. I wasn't speeding, but I mean,
They don't
people
have I wasn't driving, I was traveling.
traveling. I'm not in commerce or whatever they say,
Yeah, I
commercial
don't need a
activity.
driver's license,
Yeah, and well, then
is
don't
that a
drive on.
legitimate thing?
Well, no, it's not legitimate. Don't drive on public funded roads. If you have your own private property, go right ahead and do what you want. But if you're benefiting from the public roads and taxpayer funded roadways, then yeah, you have to abide by the rules and laws of the state and
And
cities.
one of the other things that drives me nuts too is those, auditors that stand outside
Oh,
of police stations or whatever, taking video and just challenging cops or I'm not giving you my ID. I raised my kids, both of them, to with the idea that you dictate how your interaction with a cop is going to go. You get pulled over and you act like a jerk, guess what they're going to do? They're going
oh yeah,
to they're going to give it right back. You're respectful and you do what they say, the worst thing that happens is you have to go to court,
yeah.
you know.
I
But I
mean,
but I said if you force a cop to use anything on that belt, you ask for it.
yeah. I mean it's like a. It should just be a professional meeting. Like, hey, let's be cordial. I don't want to be with you. I'm here for a reason. Either you made me or something occurred that I have to be talking to you. So let's just handle it like professionals and everybody can be on their way. And I mean, people just need to realize let's not argue on the street. You can argue in court
Yep.
and things would be much more simple and peaceful.
And that's good for you because you get overtime, right?
Yeah. Well, we're a small city, so overtime doesn't really come my
Oh,
way
is
that
that right?
often.
So, yeah, that's the thing with, I've always raised my kids, knowing what happened to my friend's dad, that, a traffic stop is probably the most stressful thing you can do. And, like my son drives my truck and my plates have it registered to me and the DMV knows I have a concealed carry. So I told my son, I said, you get pulled over if you're jacking around in the car and you're acting stupid and your buddies are acting stupid or whatever. Before he even gets to that car, he's run the plates and it comes back to me having a gun. He assumes there's a gun in that car. So if you're acting stupid, but I basically told him what they can and can't do when they get pulled over. And I'm like, listen, if you don't have any warrants and you didn't do anything stupid, you're not going to jail. But if you act like an idiot, you definitely will.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, like I just being polite can go a long way. It
mhm,
really can. That could be the deciding factor of me signing a ticket or saying, "Hey, slow down, have a good day."
right. Well, yeah, that's hopefully if you ever meet my kids, because of a traffic stop or whatever, man, I,
Rest them
I
on
will
site.
consider, yeah, I'll consider myself a failure if they do anything stupid or say anything stupid. And I guess that would be almost funny because you can be like, you know what? I can call your dad right now,
Yeah,
but they're
have them
both adults. So
take the car away and make them walk home.
yeah, yeah, that'd be funny. But my daughter is deathly afraid of getting pulled over. She doesn't know how she would react, and I'm like, "Sweetie, they're not gonna do anything to you.
Yeah, he's roll
Don't
down the window and give what's asked for. It's all good.
yeah, don't believe what you see on the internet." So, but, so how's Ashlyn doing this year, by the way? Do you still follow, Ashlyn
Well, yes and no. I mean,
in
kids
Valley
keep me
Forge?
busy. Yeah. So, I mean, I can when I can on the Instagram to see what the score was. I think they lost their first two, but I think they're on a 5-game win streak right now, so they're
Oh,
doing
nice.
pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what about, are you gonna coach your, you gonna have your kids play football?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get there eventually. Yeah, I'll definitely let them develop and have fun before I get in their ear to annoy them.
So you wanna coach them?
Yeah, eventually I will. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you're not worried about CTE and all that crap?
Nah, I'm doing okay for the most part for now. So,
You ever
yeah.
gotten your bell rung?
Yeah, of course. I'm sure I've had a concussion, but
Some running back running you?
yeah, I know I've hit a few old linemen like helmet to helmet where I've been like, all right, give me a second here. Let me concentrate and figure out what's going on.
You keep a lot of your stuff, a lot of your memorabilia and all that?
Um, yeah, I mean, I always have all the awards I've gotten over the years. A couple of jerseys, stole a few of my helmets. So, yeah,
Nice. Well, I'm glad I got that one back
yeah,
there.
that's a good one.
Yep. Yeah, I love that jersey. But, well, listen, I hear the little ones are up in the background,
Yeah,
and I know
my
you have to
daughter's
go to
definitely starting to tear up some toys right now.
and I know you have to go to work soon, so, I really appreciate you doing this with me. Like I told you before, I'm not an interviewer. I just want this to be talking and sharing your story. And the big thing I really wanted to share was that, that amazing story with you and your wife, then girlfriend. I have so much respect for you as a man and as a person, and it has nothing to do with you, being a former football player, but just, you know, I'm proud to know you. So
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm glad to be your friend too. And thank you for having me on.
and you know that if you need anything, like I said, God forbid somebody got hurt or, if somebody retires or something, even your one buddy, you got something for your buddy. But if you
Yeah.
ever need anything, you know, all you got to do is pick up the phone.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, sounds good. Well, listen, Jamie, I really appreciate you taking this time with me, a little under an hour. I really appreciate it. And, I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Sounds
Maybe
good.
we
Thank
should
you very.
go to a range one day or something.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
I got my 44 Mauser. It didn't blow up when I shot it. So
Yeah. Not a pipe bomb yet.
no, it hadn't been fired since 1944. I took it to
Oh
the
wow.
range and shot it. So it was a German sniper rifle.
Nice.
So
Yeah. She let the
that's a
sun shoot it first. Like, go ahead, buddy.
no,
You go
no, no,
first.
no, no. But we ended up blowing off 50 rounds after it didn't blow up. So
Oh, nice. Good.
it's a sweet bolt action rifle.
Heck yeah.
And I do know you like guns because I remember one day I was at the gun show and you walked by and you stopped by to say hi. So
Yep.
that was a while ago.
Yeah. Definitely appreciate a good gun.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate that you did this for me, talking football, talking all this stuff. So tell your family I said thanks for letting me spend an hour out of your day with me. But stay safe tonight, get home safe, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks to you.
All right, Jamie. Thanks.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.